Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how you can use algebra tiles to multiply polynomials. Now, to show with algebra tiles, we are limited in terms of the degree of the polynomial. So we're going to stick with some simple ones. So I'm going to also send you guys this algebra tiles link if you guys want to use it. But first, I want to set up so it's ready to be used for multiplication. So I'm clicking the horizontal and the vertical bar, and I'm kind of setting up like a multiplication chart-like kind of thing. So you know how with regular numbers, you would have numbers 1 through 20 or whatever across and 1 through 20 down, and then you would do row and column to get the answer. Well, it's a similar idea with algebra tiles. So the first problem I want to show you is x times 2x plus 3. So let me show you this first problem, x times 2x plus 3. So what I would do is on one side, I would bring just an x like this. I would put it against that. And then the other side, I would bring two x's. So here's 1, 2. They're all positives. And I would bring 3 of these. 1, 2, 3. So this is kind of like a puzzle. You're trying to see what shape would fit in here to match up with this green one and the green one. And the one that matches up with that is this big square. So what I just did was x times another x, which gives me x squared. So I could attach it there. And on the next row and column, I guess this is the row. This row is just x's, right? The next part is this x. So what's another x times x? That's going to give us another x squared. And then we have an x times a 1. So x times 1 is just an x, right? Anything times itself is that. So that's our x. And then we repeat it 2 more times. X times 1 is another x, and x times 1 is another x. So this portion right here would be our answer. This part of the grid, right? So we have x squared, and there's another x squared. And then these are all positive x's, right? X, x, x. And so our answer will be 2x squared plus 3x. And what did we multiply? We multiplied by x times, and on this part was 2x plus 3. That's how we can use our algebra tiles to multiply binomials. Okay, let me see if I could now clear this up. So I think if I tidy it up, I get rid of all of that, and I think I can actually erase all this too. So let me erase all of that. Let me do one more problem with you. Again, this works best when your degree is 1. Okay, so both x and 2x plus 3, the degree was 1. So it worked out okay. All right. So I'm going to again set up my horizontal bar and the vertical bar to set up my multiplication chart. So this time, let's multiply by, let's do a negative 2x times by 4x minus 1. So to set up this problem, what I would do is on one side, I would do negative 2x's. So I'm going to use the red rectangle, right? So I'm going to set up 2 of them because this represents negative 2x on that one side. And then the other side is 4x minus 1. So 4 positive x's, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I have a minus 1, so I'm going to bring the red one over. Okay, so now my algebra tiles are ready to be multiplied. So I actually have 2 rows of red x's. So I'm going to do one of them at a time. Let me do this one. So remember, a red is a negative, and this green one is a positive. So you got to remember the integer rules. Negative times a positive will give you a negative, right? So this is negative x times a positive x. So x times x is still x squared, but it'll be negative this time. So I have to bring over the red big square because this represents negative x squared, okay? And I'm going to look at the picture again. I see negative times a positive x. So I would bring in another negative x squared, and I need 2 more of these, right? You see I'm filling it out? Okay. The next part I see is a red small square. So that's a negative 1. And remember, this negative rectangle is a negative x. So negative times a negative is going to be positive, remember? So I'm going to bring the green rectangle over. Okay? And then the next row, what you realize is that this is the same shape as the top one, right? It's the negative x. So my second row of the negative x will look just like what we had. So we have negative times a positive, which is a negative x squared. We have another negative x squared, another one. Oops, come on. And then one more. And then again, the last part is a negative times a negative, which will give us a positive x. So this is a picture of multiplying negative 2x times positive 4x minus 1. So if you notice right here, these are negative x squares. I'm not going to write all of them. It'll take me too long. So all these, right, are negative x squares. How many of them are there? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them, right? So my answer to this monomial times a binomial will give me negative 8x squared. And then notice I have an x here, and it's a positive, and then here's another x. So that gives me plus negative times a negative is positive, 2x. So that's a couple of examples of using algebra tiles to multiply a monomial by a binomial. And notice again, the degrees are 1. I could show it with algebra tiles using this is the algebra tile method of multiplication. All right, I hope that was fun.